talk to us about some sidebars and footers. Why are they there? What can you use them for? And maybe when do people sort of overuse them, stuff everything in them, that kind of thing?
Okay, so sidebars and footers. So the footer is the stuff at the bottom of the website. If you scroll down to the very bottom of the web page, so you'll see, at the very least, you'll see something like copyright, organisation name, and then the year. People put a lot of stuff into the footer. Then the sidebars are usually have in the on the main content section of the website below the logo and the kind of the banner area, where you've got the main content. Either on the left hand side or the right hand side, you might see a sidebar. Sometimes on both. And the sidebar, sometimes they have articles or content relating to whatever the main body of the page is about. So it could be stuff that's directly related to that. Or sometimes it's just like a list of latest blog posts, or sometimes it's the most recent comments. Sometimes it's a list of categories that the site has or the blog has.
Sometimes it's just a site map even.
Sometimes just a list of all the pages on the site, yeah. So you can put all sorts of stuff in there. You might have, for example, a short bio on the author of that particular article. So you'll see that maybe on newspaper sites that the author bio is on every one of their articles. So you can use it for a lot of different things.
Is there any particular rule with the sidebars, less more, or is it a good idea to fill it up? Because with the footer, you can have it as busy as you like.
Yeah. The footer is tucked out of the way at the bottom, and you don't generally offend people by putting too much stuff in the footer, because they'll only get there if they want to get there anyway. And the footer is a really useful place. If you want to put in, say, a full sitemap with a list of all the pages on your site, depends on how many you have, though. You might not want to do that if you've got thousands of pages. But if you've got, 30, 40 pages, you could list all of the pages on your site in the footer. What you'll see is a footer, and it's got maybe 4 or 5 columns or 3 columns, and each one of those columns of text has a bunch of text in it, and sometimes images and things. The footer as well, you can put all your recent blog posts. Sometimes you'll see what's called a tag cloud, which is a bunch of words that are tags. So there are various words that are mentioned throughout the site. Or sometimes you'll see a contact form in every sidebar or in every footer.
Or social media icons, that kind
absolutely,
of thing.
Yeah, like add this page to like this page on Facebook and things like that, or add to Google Reader and this kind of stuff. Some people say, look, what's the main call to action on that you want people to follow on that page, and worry about getting that in front of the user, and don't worry too much about putting all the other stuff in. So in that sense, less is more. So it depends on what your website's visitors' needs are, how quickly you want your page to load. If you've got more stuff there, your page will load slower. If you've got lots of images there, the page will load slower. Is it strictly necessary to the people when they get to that page on your website? Will the site answer their needs? How will you divert them into other pages on your website and keep them on your site? And
so it has to try and think of it as a benefit to your viewer, to your audience. So for example, like a lot of people put in a little search bar to search the website, which mightn't fit in the overall page design.
Yeah.
But then the footer, you can just put a search bar right at the top of the footer.
You can have that in, yeah, absolutely, yeah. If it's in the footer, it doesn't clutter up the website as much as if it's in the sidebar. And sometimes you see people with too much, like you'll see they've got a main content column, and then they've got a sidebar, or maybe even 2 or 3 sidebars, kind of multi-divided. And if it's designed really well, it looks good, it can look good, but it can look very cluttered sometimes. And you'll see, like, if people have a website and they've got advertising on it, then they need to put that advertising somewhere. So that's the main consideration, is where do they put that. And then if somebody's got, say for example, they're running a not-for-profit blog, they may want to take out the sidebars completely and just the main content. For example, authors do this quite often. The main content is their short story or whatever it is they're displaying.
This raises a point that, it doesn't have to be the same on every page. Like on one of the previous projects I did, we had a sidebar on most pages, but then the prices page.
Yeah, where you need to have something that spreads across the length of the page. Yeah,
exactly. So
you can see that with some WordPress templates. You'll see that the template has a full width page template in there as well. So there's lots of different things you can do with the sidebars. Take them out completely, leave them in, have multiple, have some of them on the left, but then some of your page templates can have the sidebar on the right instead. All of that kind of stuff. Sidebars are pretty cool.